Okay, hi everyone. I've been having lots of questions about English language paper 1, question 3 for the AQA syllabus, which most of my students are sitting. So I just thought I'd record a very quick video to help you to understand the easiest way to very quickly get as close to 8 out of 8 as you can on this question 3 question. So the question, will always use the word question a lot here. The question 3 question is always going to be, how has the writer used structure to interest the reader? Okay, it's 8 marks, so it's not very long. And so I recommend 2 paragraphs. And what I recommend you do is you use something called FOPS. The F stands for focal points and focal shifts. The O stands for order of information. The P stands for pace. One of the best ways to look for pace is punctuation. So that's kind of a double P in a way. And the S stands for sentence forms. So obviously short sentences, long sentences. If you haven't already checked it out, you can check out ututoring.com/structure. And that gives you a little bit of an overview of the focal points and what they are, order of information, what that is, punctuation/pace, what that is, and sentence forms, what that is. So that's the question. You only get about 10 to 12 minutes to do this in the exam. So this is pretty fast paced, which is why I'm just going to give you a couple of easy wins on every piece that you look at. So the question, since it's about interest, oh, I can't make it bold. That's a shame. But since it's about interest, maybe I can highlight it. That's pretty bad highlighting. But anyway, you need to think about what creates interest. And you only need a few things here. So one of the best things that I teach my students is think about the kind of 4 quadrants of pace. It would be good if I wrote this down somewhere actually, but just for the sake of this lesson, if it's fast pace, but positive emotion, then we would call that excitement. Yeah. If it's fast pace, but it's negative emotion, then we would probably call that panic or anxiety. If it's slow pace and it's positive, we would generally call that calm or satisfying. And then finally, if it's slow pace, but negative, then we would call that sort of depression or sadness. Yeah. So with every piece of writing that you ever look at, you will be able to look at pace, whether it's fast or slow, positive or negative. So there's your first point. So let's look for that straight away. And let's look for it in literally the first paragraph. You can look at pace in any paragraph. So let's literally just do the first one. Alice unscrews the top of her water bottle. It's warm, but she's too thirsty to care and drinks it down in great gulps. Below, the heat haze shimmers above the dented tarmac of the road. Above her, the sky is an endless blue. The cicadas keep up their unrelenting chorus, hidden in the shade of the dry grass. So in this first paragraph, what we notice is that the sentence forms and the punctuation creates a fairly short sentences and slow pace. So let's just keep it really simple. Let's look at the shortest sentence in there, which is above her, the sky is an endless blue. So this is a slow pace, but it is positive. So at the beginning of this piece of work, we see that the pace is slow, the tone, therefore, because it's positive, is a calming effect. And why might this be interesting to the reader? Because it establishes that there's a calmness to the piece to begin with, which then we can look for a change in pace, which again, there will always be a change in pace somewhere in here. So now we can look for a faster bit to then add this contrast, which will finish off the interest. So let's just look at this first sentence here. Painstaking, monotonous work for the first part, the digging and scraping, the cataloging and recording. And so far they've turned up little of significance to justify their efforts. So do you see here now, we have a very fast negative emotion, which is creating sort of frustration and a bit of panic, a bit of anxiety. So if you combine these two now, that could be your first paragraph. You could say one of the ways that the writer creates interest is the changing pace to create these changing emotions in the character. You can do this on literally any piece that you find. You can find a slow pace bit, you can find a fast pace bit, you can talk about how there's a change there. Okay, so that's the first paragraph. Talk about pace. Remember that it can be fast and positive, which is exciting, fast and negative, which is anxiety or panic, slow and positive, which is calm, or slow and negative, which is sad or depressing. That's the first one. You can do that on any piece. All right, that's paragraph 1. Check. Okay, so then the second one is even easier than that. I want to save the best till last. At the beginning of every paragraph, you have an opportunity to look for a focal point or a focal shift. So that's the F of FOPS. So you could do even the first little bit here. Alice unscrews the top of her water bottle. You could do that. You could talk about why that's interesting, because it creates mystery. It's what we call in media res, because the story just starts in the middle. We don't know who Alice is or why she's drinking water. So that creates a sense of mystery, which is a type of interest. But we might go to something a bit more interesting than that. So let's just go to this one. Hopefully her luck's about to change. So this is clearly a focal point. It's focusing on her fortune. And this is interesting because as the reader, again, it's kind of a mystery in this case. As the reader, we can be like, well, why is her luck about to change? We get a sense of suspense, a sense of like what's coming next. So bottom line, I want to keep this video nice and short. Whichever focal point you want to choose, every single start of every single paragraph is either going to be a focal point or a focal shift. And just look for that. And one of them will be clearly interesting and easy to write about. Okay, so that's everything for this little mini kind of video, just helping you with question 3. Hope that helps. If you like the video, like it. If you have any questions, comment. Until the next time, see you later.